Good evening. Welcome to Tomorrow, episode 6, where we'll be talking about the perfect time with Francis Obozuwa. Francis, welcome to Tomorrow, and thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
In fact, when I was just thinking about the perfect time, I was just thinking, okay. I mean, I know that you do a lot of things, but perfect time. One thing about watches, but time is completely different. I know, so when I think of, if we go back to before on yesterday, and I remember time, and I like to talk from a Nigerian perspective context because I think because I don't know what happens in other parts of the world. I know this one where I went through yesterday, and at that time, I mean, two things. First of all, time was an indicator of people. People did things on time, right? I remember even when I started work, I would set my watch 10 minutes ahead of whatever
my mom,
standard.
Yes, my mom did that.
Exactly. I set myself because it was a reflection of respect. It was a reflection of your own character and everything. And people didn't take that for granted, especially, where you respect people or your elders, you can't be late.
100%.
Whatever be early, especially if there's a deal. And people didn't sometimes look at you from what you know, but how your value system. Yes. We were actually a value-driven society, and some of those things were based on time. So, you get to school on time. So if you look at the three fabrics of society, school, you get to school on time.
Yes.
Church, you go to you can't even be late.
You had, first of all, for school, you had a timekeeper. It was a prefect that was a timekeeper.
Yes. True. Yeah, remember.
And if you're Catholic.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you get to mass at a particular time, you can't get in.
You can't get in, exactly.
So your dad would make sure you get there.
Exactly. Before you disgrace the family. 100%. In fact, everything was about disgrace. Don't even disgrace also. In fact, I remember when I was in school, I was like, let me just, if they catch me, that disgrace. My mother would just say, I don't disgrace thing. So, I mean, and then one more thing, I think at that time everything was manual. When I think about it, so even your watches, except when we got into the Casio era.
Yes.
And so that even allowed you to set your own time.
Yes.
As well. So although
actually set
your own time. Yes, everybody that was, and so but I think today, when I think about today, especially in the Nigerian context. In fact, let me just even freeze it. Niger time.
Which can be a good or a bad thing.
Which can be a good or bad thing. So there are a few things like it. So when I think about today, I think about today from the perspective of what does if time is a metric of value, and we live in a world where there are many generations in one spot, and they're all relevant. So, you have your oxygen. You have your what do they call them again?
Baby boomers.
You have your baby boomers. You have the lost generations. Yeah, you have lost generations. Baby boomers, X's, Y's, and Z, and everyone is playing the role because you're. Well, I don't know about you, but my Gen Alphas now and are dealing with me because now you have to big time.
You have to catch up.
You have to catch up. Yeah, big catch up. So. The thing about me is look, yesterday, I'll give you a simple example. I went to an event yesterday, and this is just, first of all, standard Niger time, supposed to start at a particular time, start an hour later. Not so bad, you see? Yeah. Not so bad now, we are not so bad. And then we're getting better. See, can you imagine, we're just mediocrity. We're getting better, and then something that you could not get away with before, we're getting better. Yeah. So we finally start, and so there's this prominent man, he gets on the stage, he's talking. While he's talking, somebody else comes in who's late, right? And then, instead of just either hiding and saying, okay, I'm late, let me just sit down, especially like this person is on there, he proceeds to shake everybody.
Sways around the front and shakes
everything. Regardless of...
He didn't care who was talking.
He didn't care who was talking, right? He didn't even care if I was listening. He's like, you must shake and you must talk. So I just look at it. I was just thinking, okay, and I'm talking to you today, and we're talking about time, we're talking about respect and all this. But if it was a different context, if it was a different situation, that would change. And then there's this second bit of the ability to, like, I remember when we first met, you asked me about my watch. And I said wealth and health.
Yeah.
So why you have your two watches? I have my gadget watch and I have my time watch.
Made it watch.
But then again, what I thought about? I thought, like, my other watch does not allow me to set my time. So like my digital watch, because it actually synced right to the cloud. So I'm like a robot, Android, right? But my personal watch allows me to like set my own personal time.
Yes.
And so, like the question I want to ask you is like, so like when you look at yesterday and when you look at today, how do you see time in our context, right?
The evolution of it?
Yeah, evolution of it. And secondly, even the people that live in this, so people that have had experiences in the past and people who are born in this new era where, time has a different meaning and a different perspective.
Now, you see, to me, time is sacred. And like you said, we grew up in an era where, time and the value of time shaped who you were. Let me use myself. I grew up in a military household, so you're not going to be late if my dad says something. If we're going to church at 9 a.m., he wants everybody like the Von Trapps filed by 8:30, because you can't be late. Yeah. And, there were these sayings that shape things. You say, time waits for nobody. Time waits for nobody teaches you what you would call being proactive, pretty much. Yeah. The phrase, it's in one word. If you say time waits for nobody, it's readiness. Yeah. Then my mom was a part-time seamstress, and then she always taught me a stitch in time saves 9. That makes you ready, teaches you prevention. Then
and discipline.
Bro, the most popular, God's time is the best.
Yeah.
God's time is the best. Teaches you patience, laced with hope.
I feel.
Now, if you put those tenets together, you have patience, you have prevention, you have urgency. Now, those are 3 values, separate values, all birthed from one word. It's a strong word. It's a proper value system. For me, time, after my faith in God, time is my second biggest asset that I have. It is also probably the most misused asset that everybody has. I became an entrepreneur just so I can manage mine and I could own my time. I'm sure that's the same thing with you.
Completely.
100%. That's why we
you own your own destiny, your own time. Exactly.
I must control it.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to let somebody else control it.
Yeah.
I had to control it.
Because time is limited. It's precious commodity.
It's all I've got.
It's not even a commodity, it's a resource.
It's currency. Okay. It's a resource. It's an asset. It's all I have. Time, while used properly, translates to money. Let me give you an example. You've done all right for yourself, right? So if you invited me for an occasion, I have the option of saying, Uzoma and Ofi come, hold this. Or I show up. Yeah. Which would you prefer?
I show up now.
Boom, there we go. That's currency.
Because I want your time.
You want my time.
The cash is a commodity.
It's valuable to me. Yeah. If I can share it with you, you would appreciate it. That's currency.
Yep.
So when people say, oh, I'm too busy, I can't do that, it shows the value of the person's time vis-a-vis what they're about to do, put the time to. Now, we were socialized in that era. So, like we said just now, if you're going to school, there's a timekeeper. Yeah. It was a sports prefect, health prefect, timekeeper. It was one of those guys to make sure it shaped you into time.
Yeah, because time, I mean, like, when you think about it, time is very limited, and so there's so much you can do. Because first of all, when you have, 30% sleeping, because you have to sleep.
Yes, sir, you have to.
You have to sleep, right?
Yes, sir.
And so this is, with all today, so like, I look at it from when we say that, okay, as Nigeria, we want to be one of the best countries in the world and everything. And we think about our natural resources, right, which is people. We think of course, and of course, your oil or whatever, your land. But we have 250 million people. But one of the greatest discipline is time. And when we look at that Niger time factor and compare it to how other nations are dealing with time, then you begin to wonder, okay, if you give me all the other resources, if you give me all the money, if you give me all the technology, but example, we're supposed to start this meeting at 2 and we start at 5, and then
at 5,
and everybody else, and everybody is accepting that mediocrity. But in terms of competitive advantage, it is those that can do more in less time, right? Are the ones, right, that people are going to say, you know what, this is where I'm going to actually invest.
So let me use myself again. So I told you how, but I try to make it as if I'm this on-time punctual guy. It took me working on a project with my senior brother, because I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I never really worked for anybody, so I kind of controlled my time. We take that for granted. Because you can dictate your time, you cannot dictate the time for others. So if I set the meeting for 1 o'clock and I hadn't got my shoes polished on time and I come in at 1:30, everybody would be there at 1:30. They wait for me.
But you think that because time is it's like if you look at all these sports people, right, because they're doing things, they're training every single day, they're doing a certain activity every single day, it now becomes ingrained.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So it took my doing a project with my brother. Now my brother is of a tech background and he's lived in England for a much longer time. And we're on a project together once, and I noticed how important it was for him. And this was a project with the CBN. So he would fly in from London, I would fly in from Lagos, we'll meet in Abuja, and then the time for the meeting is, call it 9 a.m. My brother is up at 5, he hits the gym, he has the whole routine, and then by 8:30, he's waiting for a car and he's calculating that, okay, by the time we get into the CBN building, it will take 5 minutes to do this, it will take this, and we should be seated 5 minutes before. And I'm looking at him like, dude, the guys we're going to meet are not going to be there till 10. And he said to me, yes, I get the Niger time factor, but I'm not going to allow that dictate who I am. It's just not going to happen. And then if we continue to abide by this African time thing, we're never going to get anything done.
We're going to get progress.
He said, so listen, let's go there and let's sit down there at 9 o'clock and then we wait. But we did that.
But don't you think that Nigerians, we're a very intelligent race? So
yes, we are.
We're intelligent race because if you can get away with something, we get away with it.
Yes.
And so, I always tell my colleagues, when you come to work, I will hear all kinds of messages there was traffic, there was this, there was that, there was this, there was that, there was that.
So you have to use a cane.
And so I always ask a question if you were going to get your visa from the British or American
embassy, you were about to catch a flight,
what would you do? You would set, if it was at 8 o'clock, you would set your time
for 5:30
because Nigeria happens. But when it comes to other things that is not your priority, or when you travel to another country, same country, right, you behave because you can't get away with it. So we do know. Yeah.
And that whole process taught me something. It made me understand that even the people, they know.
Yeah.
So when they come for a meeting and they come late, I noticed they would look a bit embarrassed. Oh, we're so sorry. We're sorry. Because they didn't expect us to be there at that time. It happened the first time. Happened the second time. Maybe the first time they came maybe 30 minutes late. Second time, 15 minutes late. By the 10th meeting, they were on time.
Yeah.
Everybody was on time. Maybe in their mind, those Igbo people don't come again. I don't know what it was, but they were on time.
This is very expensive for all of us. Let me tell you why it's expensive, and this is what I've noticed. So, of course, you're having a party in your house.
Yes.
A party is going to start at 5 o'clock. And so you just say, these people, let me just tell them 3 o'clock. You tell them 3 o'clock, then the caterer, they're doing per hour.
Yeah.
So you now have to hold them from 3, just in case some people
surprise you and show up early.
Much later time. So when you just think of all the events, or even when this or these, should I say, like people are going to parties and they're doing their makeup people, they just put too much buffer time. So even these people that can earn 5 times more if people were on time are earning less, because if they can do 10 appointments, they only do 3.
Yeah.
Because you go to one place, they say, hold on, no, please, X, Y, Z.
This is going to happen. So instead of booking 2 gigs in a day, they book 1 because there's going to be time wasted.
Yes. So yes, exactly. So let me ask you something. Actually, I was thinking about when I was preparing for this. It's like, look, you know a lot about watches. In fact, you know a lot about all watches, right? You're an aficionado of watches. There are your smartwatches today, which are just mass produced, right?
Yeah.
And so there's no, in fact, I think it's just even robots that actually produce them. Then you have your other traditional watches, right?
Yeah.
And quite a lot of the very nice ones, right? Yeah. One, they are man-made.
Yes.
They're precision, right?
Yes.
They're complicated. And I think even from a technology perspective, they actually advance because some of the complications and how you've actually been able to do, like put 4 different things in a watch where you have two dates, 2 time zones, 2 dates,
fire reserve.
Exactly. And because there is precision and time taken to make these things, that appreciation of time is there. Meanwhile, Bros here just says, okay, just go and produce. I mean,
just put a battery in.
Just put a battery in.
And then we're gone.
And we're going, exactly. I'll just charge it now.
So you see, that's like a double-edged hand right here, because you can use the same analogy of a timepiece and the value of a timepiece to explain the value of time.
Exactly.
And so that's where you're going.
Yes, exactly.
Pretty much. So, like, you value your time so much, you wear 2 watches.
Yes, exactly. With 2 assets, 2 hands. Why should I use 1?
But that's how much you value your time.
Yeah.
One is to tell you the same time, but one does one thing and the other one does another thing. Exactly. One is.
And I like this watch here.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Carbon.
Yeah.
Now, the time, like you said, the time it takes. Let's use
That's a nicer watch, but let's not talk about.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Just to keep it there before they cut
you just.
If you're in London right now,
if I was in London, I'd be with my G-Shock.
Okay.
Shout out to Nigeria.
Okay.
One of the safest places in the world
for watches.
Now, if you talk, let's use exactly what you said. A handmade. Let me take 2 brands. Let me take an independent brand and a mainstream brand of both mechanical watches.
Okay.
So let's take a Rolex, which is everybody's I've made it watch, but which has tons of production capacity in a year. Yeah. And then let's take one of my favorite brands, an F. Pigeon, which is independent with limited production. The cheapest F. Pigeon is probably more expensive. Well, not necessarily, but let's just say a basic F. Pigeon is more expensive than a very expensive Rolex. There are 2 luxurious timepieces. One is more handmade than the other. So if somebody walks into a room wearing a Rolex, you understand he's rich, you know, he has achieved a few things. If somebody walks in wearing an F. Pigeon, you are probably going to get up, shake him with 2 hands, and bow down by mistake. You don't know when it happens because you understand that, listen, he has gone through a lot to get to where he is.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Because now what you're telling me that you can buy time.
Yes.
What you're telling me you can buy time now? I just say,
100%.
Yes.
You can buy time. If it's currency, then it can be traded.
Yeah. But you know, you can buy time.
Yes.
You can buy time, but see, I think independently, anybody can buy time.
Yes.
But time and value, I think, like, you know, like in those days, I remember, like, if you, like, somebody, like a friend of mine went and bought his mother. I don't know how he got the money. He went and bought his mother a gift.
Okay.
And the mother said, where did you get the money to buy this? A question that you don't hear.
A question you don't want to hear.
A question you don't hear anymore. It's more, thank God, thank God, you have done well, well done. Which happens across. So yes, you can buy time, but attached to something.
Attached to something.
Yeah.
You kind of can, because if we have already agreed that time is currency, means it can be traded.
Yeah.
So not necessarily buying it, but it can be traded. We trade time. Listen, everybody who works is trading in their time for a paycheck.
Yeah.
So it's a trade.
Yes, it is. And like
as an entrepreneur, as a boss, you are buying people's time with the salary. Yeah. It's a mean thing to kind of agree to, but it's the truth.
Yeah. I'm back. I mean, like, so like time, value.
Yes.
And you know, like, interestingly, like, we should be talking about time. My last guest, we were talking about value of people. And we're talking about some jobs where yes, like in Japan, a sushi chef is one of the most highest paid people because he has gone through time to educate himself.
Yes.
And so because of that, right, and has gone through a process, a journey, he can command, you can't just wake up and say you're a sushi chef.
No.
Where is the time?
Process.
Where's the time? Here, so like, first of all, here, that's what I grab. Well, our value of time is not as it should be. And then we want everything yesterday. So somebody will just wake up and just call himself chef.
Somebody wake up making Domino noodles.
Yes, making it. Yes, somebody just meanwhile, with
green pepper.
With green pepper, exactly, and some Maggi cubes.
Yeah.
And then you have designer. No one just wake up and say they're designer.
100%.
Which school did you go to?
None.
But I just sold something, and like so.
Process
Time, and also respect of time, knowing that somebody that has done something, well, then again, time, like some people will just tell you that I've been working for 20 years, but what have you achieved in those 20 years?
Okay, so let's put, I've manufactured furniture for 2025, for 27 years. I can design any space with my eyes closed. I have never called myself an interior designer in this life.
Okay.
I can do it.
What do you call yourself?
Closed. I can call myself carpenter. Depends on if it's wood. I can call myself a welder. If it's iron. I am a furniture manufacturer. Eton House, my company, manufactures furniture. I can design a space with my eyes closed. But I can never call myself an interior designer because I didn't put that time.
Exactly.
If you can argue all day long, you can't call yourself a lawyer now, even if you can argue.
That's true.
Did you go to law school? You didn't. Did you put that 5 years in?
Exactly.
You didn't do it.
Yeah.
But you sabi argue. But that's that time and process. There's a marriage to it, and it has a yield at the end of the day.
Okay, so.
Let me go take out something else even before, if just hold that.
Yes, okay.
You went to Japan. The Japanese have a saying, Ichigo Ichie, which easiest interpretation, or literal interpretation is one time, one meeting, which basically is you are never going to have a repeat of any time. So whatever it is you see yourself, make the best of it. Wherever you find yourself, whatever moment happens, make the best of each moment because it's never going to happen again. That thing sank in me when I found it out. And it explains Japanese. I like Japanese wristwatches. I think that...
Really? I've never seen one.
Well, yes, you have. You just didn't think about it. You've seen a Seiko.
Oh, yeah, okay, yes.
There you go.
Okay.
You have seen a Seiko. You've seen
why do I think it...
You think it was Chinese?
Yeah, no, I didn't think it was Chinese. I even thought it was European. I don't know why, for some reason.
It's 100% Japanese. And you see, Japanese fashion, Japanese anything. We buy things from Uniqlo.
Uniqlo is great.
You see, so there's Japanese... Uniqlo is Japanese, are we?
Yeah, Uniqlo is Japanese. 100%. Very Japanese, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but Federer signed up with them. Federer is my guy.
There you go. So it shows that how important they take time. The tenets of it is...
In fact, everything is ritualistic.
Everything.
Even drinking tea. They will just... In fact...
When I started, it was a friend of mine who put me onto drinking tea, and she explained to me, I'm like, what's the whole issue? She said, it is calming. We both smoke cigars. So when people ask you, about cigars. I don't know your answer, but for me, it's one of my most calming, because I can't rush a cigar.
Yeah.
It's going to take me, if it's maybe a 54 ring gauge, so I know it's a 6-inch cigar, and okay, this is going to take me 45 minutes to smoke. I'm not going to talk a lot when I'm smoking. I'm going to spend this time decompressing and just chilling.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how the Japanese are with tea. It's a hot thing. You're brewing it. The brewing is going to take some minutes, and then it's hot, so you have to sip it slowly. So the period of time you dedicate to tea is like a ritual.
Yeah.
These little things are all bordering around the value of time.
So it's even like there's a ritual, there's an art to even spending time, right?
Like we're doing right now.
Exactly.
We could be anywhere.
Exactly.
We have things to do, but this is it, chopping it up.
So let me just go back to time and timepieces, right?
Yes.
Time and timing. So, my son, begin to appreciate. But most people today, people are just wearing Apple watches, right? And like Apple watches or Samsung watches, and that lot. And so there are more of those watches being produced and being worn today than, should I say, the old, what would I call them? The traditional.
Traditional watch.
Let's call them the traditional. But there's something like beautiful about them, right? But people are born into the world of just digital today, right? And so digital, because it's convenient, it's like everything is synchronized. I don't have to wind it. In fact, now people are looking for longer lasting batteries, because even that whole idea of just charging your watch is a disruption in their time.
Yes.
Now, of course, like with traditional watches, depending on the complications, some of them you wind, some you have to just movement and everything like that. I mean, where do you see their place in the future? We're going back to we're gradually getting to tomorrow now. Where do you see the place in the future? Where, for me, the beauty about traditional watches is that I set my time.
Yes.
With the other ones, you don't set your time. It's the universe. Sorry.
So, you know what, Uzoma, what we're going to do? I'm going to ask you that question right back, because you're the one who wears both.
Yes.
I don't think nothing.
You don't think anything.
Nothing. And I'll tell you why. I have my phone. I have a tablet. I have a computer on my office desk. You don't reach.
Well,
the last thing I now need is to now, bro, is that urgent? I need to know who is emailing me on my phone. It did my phone now.
Yeah. So why do I wear?
Why do you? So you answer that question.
Okay, let me tell you why I wear two watches, right?
Yes.
I don't. So like my Samsung watch is not to tell the time, because
it's
pretty much the phone, right? But it's just the health bit, right? And I wear.
Well, I was about to say, I wear an Oura ring. You wear an Oura as well. So that can track.
That can track certain things too. So like, but this tracks activity better, and this tracks everything else better. So I'm waiting. But then again, let me just go and do some research, because I'm waiting because it's too much work. But it's too much work.
It's too much work that you put yourself in.
But I like to collect data. This is all about data, collecting data and testing, right?
Okay.
But yes, because
so you are living in yesterday and today, as you.
So and there are two things as well, right? Because one, I want to know how the the whole world, the rest of the world is doing from a time perspective.
Yes.
But then yes, I'm living in my old world where I appreciate, because there was a time I just said, traditional watches are dead. Yeah. And for 5 or 6 years, I didn't wear traditional watch. Yeah, right? And then one day I just wore one. I think the one that my mother gave me. These things are very fine.
Yeah, they're nice. And
it's more than a watch. Yes. It's actually it's an expression of yourself.
It's an expression of yourself, an expression of your value of time.
Yes.
And it is also, it can be a dovetail from. Let's take it back to yesterday again. I like the way you broke this thing into yesterday. Yeah. So let's take it back to yesterday. So if you take it back, you learned those tenets that we spoke about how the different parables and socialization of self and the value of time can build you. So let's imagine that it built you and then you became a successful person. Instinctively, you reward yourself by buying a nice watch. You've gone full circle in time.
Yes. But then again, it's also, I mean, like, I think it's also should I say, when I think of my watches,
Yes.
all of them have a significant.
And it's sentimental. Yeah. You remember?
I remember why.
You remember it, and you told me the story of your Daytona.
Yes.
There's particular.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember my Apple Watch. I bought this Apple Watch. It's sentimental.
Which of your Apple Watches? You probably had every new one. Have you bought every new Rolex when they came out?
Well, of course not.
No, that's just not how it works.
There are some people that do that to bet. We know those people.
Yeah. Fair. Some people that
they don't understand value or don't have plenty of money. My brother said to me that there are many poor people that have money. So, but I don't. 100%. Yes. So, where do you see timepieces in tomorrow?
You see,
with a diminishing population of people who appreciate, especially for that generation, where you're not seeing, are you seeing much uptake where you're saying, okay, Gen Zs or Gen Ys are saying, you know what, I'm tired of this Apple Watch, I want to start looking at these things. Well, so like, you have a good understanding.
Yes, I do, and I live in that.
Because I think that is also a precursor of how people are going to appreciate time, appreciate the new world, and other things as well.
I have a real life example. When my first son turned 18, I bought him a Seiko 5 with an Arabic dial. At the same birthday, his aunties, my sisters, bought him an Apple Watch, and he has both of them. Prior to that, he wore a Casio, so some limited edition Casio that I bought before he was born. I gave it to his mom, and then she gave it to him, and he wore it through secondary school and back. So by this time, he's doing his A-levels, and I bought him the Seiko. He understood the Apple Watch, of course. That's his generation, so he got that, but I could see it in him when he started asking me, okay, Dad, how do I set this? It's not working. And then I explained it and I taught him, and then he set it. And I taught him once, and I wanted to see if he would understand and appreciate it enough to set it the next time. Now, so he doesn't wear it, he wears it on special occasions, and he wears his Apple Watch every day. That tells.
Yeah.
And then when he brings it out, he takes his time, he sits down, he said, it's a date cycle. So he sets the date, cracks the crown back the other way, sets the date, winds his watch and keeps it going. And then comes to me and says, I have a Tudor Black Bay 58, and he's like, this is my next watch, Daddy. Yeah. This is my next. So he's already there.
Already there, yeah.
So I understand that he's Gen Z. The appreciation is going nowhere for timepieces. Okay. And then what is happening today with the digital watches has happened before with quartz watches. Okay. So there was the whole...
What are quartz watches?
I apologize. Quartz watches are watches operated by a battery.
Okay.
So there was what you call the quartz crisis in the late 60s, I think early 70s, when the Japanese, with Seiko, released the quartz watch, and people, first of all, it made watches cheaper. And so people just thought, okay, this thing that used to be like a luxury for only big men, we can now afford it. And then everybody started buying quartz watches, and it tanked pretty much the Swiss market. That was a big hit on the Swiss mechanical watch industry fully. So it's referred to as the quartz crisis, and everybody fell out of love with mechanical watches. But slowly, you see, you can't take away the value of craftsmanship. You can't.
Art. In fact, during COVID, you remember that these things became more expensive.
We are still suffering the problems of COVID till today. You can't walk into a Rolex AD
and just get it. Even before COVID, you just walk into
and get a discount on Rolex. You want to get a gift, you could get a 15% discount on a precious metal Rolex easy. Now you walk into the store and they're looking at you like, did you fall from Mars?
You want to watch?
Which watch do you want? We have no watch here. Yeah. You couldn't get anything.
Yeah.
You know, so it takes you back to Ichigo Ichie. I remember once I hate that I'm about to say this thing on television, but I was offered a Patek Philippe 5711. One of my closest enthusiast friends know this story. This was in 2016. I walked into the Patek Philippe boutique in Bond Street and I asked for 5711 1/8, so the blue dial. And they said to me, we don't have a blue dial. It's really sought after. We can put your name on a waiting list. I put my name on the waiting list. And then the lady said to me, we have a white dial here if you want it. I don't know, I'll wait for the blue dial. She said it's right here.
It's right here, it's not there for you.
I said, no, I'll wait for the blue dial.
Patek Philippe, white dial.
Yeah. She said, okay. And she put my name on the waiting list. It was December, I was there for Christmas. I came back to Nigeria maybe February, March. I got an email saying, Mr. Obozuwa, your watch is ready, yes. Blah, blah, blah. My head said, so this is the great waiting list they're talking about, just 3 months they've called you. I didn't have the money, right? I didn't have it was 12 grand. I didn't have the 12 grand, right? So I'm not acting like I had it in my back pocket or anything, but if I understood what the value of that watch was going to become, I'd have sold my car that minute. I think I was driving a Mercedes at the time. I'd have sold it that minute and bought that watch. But I didn't, because I took that time for granted. I took the email for granted. I took everything for granted. I'm like, no, don't worry. You guys leave it. If it takes 3 months, that means when I'm ready, it will take another 3 months. If you cut 3 legs and maybe took some of your cousin's own, you can't. The watch is even discontinued now. You can't get it. Yeah. Second-hand value now, COVID first reached 220 grand. Wow. Probably about 110 grand for a watch I could have bought 12 grand 10 years ago. You tell me, what stock can do that for you?
Not many. Not many. Not the way that I can call.
There we go.
Except NVIDIA.
If you were lucky. If you knew.
If you knew, exactly.
So that is missed. Yeah. That to me is missed.
Opportunity.
Which is missed.
Missed time.
And missed timepiece. Yeah. You see, missed time. You can't weave out of the double.
Timing was there. Yeah, you had the time except to miss time and miss timepiece.
So you see, which brings us to the topic we're discussing, perfect time. Yeah. That would have been perfect timing, but I missed it.
Yeah.
So I don't, I don't know. It's whether.
So my last question was like for tomorrow.
Yes.
For us to get for for your view, like, what is the idea of a perfect time from a Nigerian? We've talked about our value for time in Nigeria, and what we understand as time. Time is everything. In fact, time is weaved into everything in society without actually knowing it. The whole idea of technology is to do more with less time, yes. Right? And so, as a society, how do you see? How do you see us creating, which in fact I call serendipity, using finding many as you said, creating many perfect times for us to be a greater nation than we are, and appreciating that importance of time, because we are very unproductive because of our lack of respect of time.
Respect for time, yes.
We do what we can do in 2 hours, we do in 10 hours.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Simple. How do we call ourselves out? Because we don't like to do that. Simple thing. Somebody, you go to a wedding, you go to any event and say, okay, please, 2 minutes. Say something for 2 minutes. Oh, right. 5 minutes.
3 minutes later, you are still in the middle of the story with no punchline.
No punchline. Yeah.
The myth, to me, of perfect time is a myth. To me, it's a myth, because there's no more perfect time than now.
Yeah.
Now is a perfect time. At every scenario, at every time. Because it's just like life being a journey. people, you have this vision of perfect time being when everything is ready, when the stars are aligned, and then that is the perfect time. By the time the stars are aligned and everything is ready, that might be a funeral.
I like that. I mean, for me, I think Bob just went on. Like, so even like we're moving into a world where everybody knows what the time is,
Yes.
right? The perfect time is actually individuals taking opportunity of that time, like you said, that presents itself for them. And if everybody does that, yeah?
If everybody does that, we're good.
Yeah, and I think that is what we need to do in our own ecosystem. Take advantage of that perfect time
now.
Of any opportunity now.
Ichigo, Ichie.
Yeah.
Now, because it could be perfect time can be that phone call that you received. It could be.
And you say, let's do it tomorrow instead of this now.
The Patek Philippe.
Yes.
That's why I brought that up. Because that was ideally at the time a perfect watch.
Yeah.
And I put it up till tomorrow and I never got that opportunity again.
Okay.
So the perfect time will always be now.
Now. The perfect time is now.
It is now.
Thank you, Francis. Good way to end. Yeah. So tomorrow is now.
Tomorrow is now. Yesterday is even now.
Yesterday.